we look at our, where we're at. We're in Unit 6. We did exponent properties with multiplying and dividing. That was before Easter break. And yesterday we did them with power of power. Each one separately. So you know what 4 is? It's all of them put together. It's all of them in the same problem. So the good news is I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just taking 3 separate little pieces of things we've already learned and doing them all at once. And what's going to come into play with multiplying, dividing, and exponents is order of operations, right? So we have to follow order of operations today. So follow me. So we're working on these on the paper. I'll tell you when it's okay to grab your whiteboard. So let's take a look at number 1 right now. So number 1 says 5n to the 6th times 6n to the 7th, and all of that divided by 10n to the 2nd. So what this really means is if that wasn't a fraction, you would know what to do, right? You would just do like learning target 1, and you would multiply the 5 and the 6 and add the 6 and the 7, right? So here's what you really have to do for me right now. Unless you were really solid on each of those 3 separate ones, then today I need you to have like 3 separate little compartments in your brain. I need you to know when to multiply or when to add the exponents. Then you need to turn around and know when to subtract them and when to multiply them. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to really get some practice with doing all 3 in one. So let's just go for it. So the only other thing I will say is this. All of the other ones, there was no work to show us there. You looked, you didn't, you put your answer. You looked, you put your answer. That's different starting today. There's going to be a little bit of work to show for each of these. Okay, so just like when your teacher first taught you order of operations, you had those 3, 4, 5-step problems. They never just let you put an answer, did they? You had to do one thing and recopy the rest. Do one thing and recopy the rest, right? At least I know I make my kids do that. That's what you're going to do here. So the only thing I can do right here for right now, and you're going with me on this, is the first step. There's nothing going on down here with this 10n to the 2nd power. The only thing is, it's waiting. It's waiting to be divided into whatever this product is, okay? I kind of feel like when I do these, here are some of the problems that I did with first hour. I like to have them in parentheses. I don't know, it's just a preference of mine. So this dot can sometimes have things meshed together. If you want to add in parentheses just because it kind of separates it more for you, you'll see me do that every couple of problems. I want you to get used to it both ways. Okay, so now I know that I need to multiply the coefficients and get 30. And 6 plus 7 is 13. Okay, so I just did learning target 1. I found the product of my numerator. Now I need to do learning target 2, which means I do what? It's either going to be add or multiply and add, divide and subtract, or raise to the power and multiply, right? That was coefficient exponent. So now, also remember, you are treating those coefficients as if they are totally loners. They're on their own. They could be separated from that n to the 13th easily. So you do that problem first. Always take care of those. 30 divided by 10 is 3. And then remember from learning target 2, this is the one everybody had the hardest time on. It's division. Always take wherever the smaller one is, take it to where the larger one is and subtract. So that's really 13 minus 2. So this is going to be 3n to the 11th. Any questions on how we got that? Okay, starting you off easy. Okay. So now let's go over and do number 2. So let's take a look at number 2. This time, I have nothing going on in the numerator. I have to just kind of simplify this denominator. And that's going to be 9 times 6. And then 3. Make sure they're both the same variable. Okay. Now, this one is unique in the fact that last time when it divided into a nice whole number. 4/54 is a fraction. It needs to be reduced. The common denominator, or the GCF, is going to be 2, so you're just going to cut it in half. So if I just reduced 4/54, I reduce it to 2/27, right? Okay. And then I got to figure out how many P's do I have and where are they? There are 10 in the top, but 13 in the bottom. So this time, this 10 comes down here and gets subtracted. So you need to make sure you have 3p in the denominator, not the numerator. Are you okay so far? There are probably a lot of you who I could just give this sheet to, and you probably just be able to do it, right? Okay, but don't, Trevor. Stay with us, okay? Because there are going to be some things that are a little bit tricky, okay? So what I want you to do right now is to try number 3. Do it on your paper, but when you get an answer, go ahead and write the answer on your whiteboard and then hold it up so that I can kind of give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down, okay? If this looks like too much to look at, then go ahead and separate it all right? And that's wrong, Trevor, which is exactly why you need to pay attention. Because we talked about reducing. And it's right if you just reduce. And this is where your calculator might come in handy. Good. 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 So I'll kind of start to go slowly up here. If you're not ready to look, then just keep working. Okay. Maybe not 12. Good. Yeah. Okay. So did you get that far? Yep, good. So as soon as you got that far, you have a fraction that needs to be reduced. So cut each in half. Divide each by 2. That's going to give you 5. And then that's going to give you 189. So you got 5 over 189. Yep. And then you guys knew to take this 4 down here and subtract. Everybody good on that one? Okay. Very good. So let's just real quick do this one. This one's going to give me 5n to the 10th. This is a 1, right? So 5 times 1 is 5. And then 7 plus 5 is 12. What happens with the 5s here? They cancel out and become 1, which we don't need to write. And this is just what? N squared. Okay. All right. Now, I want you to do 5 and 6 with me. So not on the board, or not on your board just yet. Because now I'm throwing in 2 variables. And notice that there is a u and a v, right? This doesn't change anything. It's just the fact that now you have a little more to deal with. So I have to kind of take care of this first before I can divide this 10v u to the second. So this is 1 times 8, which is 8. And then I want to get my v's in order with each other. So I'm going to do the v's first. V to the 9th and u to the 11th. Is everybody okay with that? So now I have the coefficients, the v's, and the u's. And I treat them as 3 separate little problems, all to come up with one answer. 10/8 reduces to what? 5/4. I have 1v here, and it's going to go down and subtract from the 9, and it's down, so that's going to give me that right there. Good. And this is also going to go down and get subtracted, and where did I mess up here? Oh, yeah, no, never mind. U to the 9. I was thinking that they were in backwards order on the answer key. Okay, are you good on that? So why don't you, real quick, try number 6. And then we're going to move on to the back. job. Good, Dylan. No. That's the answer for number 4. No. You're missing a coefficient somewhere. Yep. Good. Is that an 11, Alexis? Yep. Good. Good. Did you find it? Good. Your 6 is wrong. Everything else is right. Your 12 should be an 11. Figure out where you got an extra one. Good. Good. Good, Kayla. Good, Colin. Yes. No, your 5 should be a 2. Figure out why. Good. Yes. Okay, so let's do this. I got 10x to the 8th. 10 times 5 is 50. 3 plus 7 more is 10. And 5 plus 6 is 11. Okay? Now, this brings up a great point. I had somebody come in this morning and say, I don't know where to put the 5. Does the 5 go in the numerator or does the 5 go in the denominator? And this is kind of what I showed them. I said, let's take this fraction. Let's take 20 divided by 5 versus 5 divided by 20. Okay? So 20 divided by 5 reduces to 4 over 1, right? Which is just 4. Okay? But 5/20 reduces to 1/4. So when you have basically a division problem that's going to result in a whole number, where does your whole number go? In the numerator. If you have 5/20, which you know is 1/4, then the 4 stays in the denominator. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind, which is why when I go to do this, 10/50 is the same as 1/5, right? Then everything, good thing that 1 is there, because everything ends up going down below and either getting subtracted or just staying. Okay? Are we good? Okay, I don't think we need to do 7 and 8, but let's flip to the back because that's where it starts getting a little loopy. Okay? A little crazy here. So this is where you need to listen. And you need to put your lids on your marker and you need to listen to what I say first. So order of operations really has to kind of take place here. So I have now parentheses with exponents on the outside of them. So on the front, I just multiplied first. But I can't multiply this n to the 7th times this 2n to the 5th until I take care of the exponents first. Because that's what order of operations says. Parentheses, unless the parentheses mean multiply, right? Parentheses would mean is there 8 plus 2? Okay, I have to do the 8 plus 2 first, right? But not when they mean multiply. So I'm going to multiply something times something, but it's not n to the 7th and 2n to the 5th. It's whatever this is after I raise it to the 4th power, times whatever this is after I raise it to the 9th power. Do you see what I mean? So there are going to be a couple steps to show here. So let's raise this n to the 7th to the 4th power. Do you remember what we did? We just did it yesterday. It's multiplying, right? So now this is n to the 28th times whatever this is going to be. And I'm not sure why, but the problems on here, they keep using the same. They like 2 to the 9th power. We're going to see it a couple times. That's 512, which got big fast, isn't it? 2 to the 9th power. 9's not that big. So 2 to the 9th power gives you 512. And then 5 times 9 is 45. Good so far? And now what did I just do? I made it a problem like the other side of the sheet, right? So it's just the same thing that I did for all those other ones. So now I need to keep that 2n there. And now I need to figure out what this product is, which is just going to be 512. 28 plus 45 is going to give you what? 73, is it? Yeah. Okay. And I'm still not done because I have to then divide. What is 2 over 512 reduced to? Cut each in half. It just means take half of each. So that's going to give you 1 over 256. And where does this, what happens with this? 1 comes down here and subtracts, and that's n to the 72nd. Got it? Do you see why this answer is not just 256 n to the 72nd? It has to have a 1 over it. That would be the case if this was flipped, right? If it was 512 over 2. Okay? All right, let's try number 2 real quick. Or 10. So this is a little different because this one's okay. I don't have anything to do with this one. I just have to take care of this one first. So there's going to be a little bit of recopying here. I'm going to take 2x to the 9th and multiply it by whatever I get after I raise that, and then divide that product by that. So this is just x to the 63rd power, right? Which means I have another line of work. And this is just a 1, correct? Are you guys following me? Am I going too fast? Okay. 2 times 1 is 2. 9 plus 63 is x to the 72nd, all divided by 2x. 2 over 2 is going to equal 1, which I don't really need to write. And then this one goes up and gets subtracted. Got it? Okay, go ahead and try number 11 for me. Keeping in mind that 2 to the 9th power is 512. Okay, hold it up when you got it. No. What is that number? 512? Your exponent is right, but your coefficient is wrong. Yeah. Well, what do you somebody answer him? Do you multiply those 8 and that 10? Is that you would multiply them if it was n to the 8th to the 10th power, wouldn't you? But this is just n to the 8th times n to the 10th, which is n to the 18th. So you add them. Yes, Adam. Good. Yes. Wait, what did you have? Yes. No. Yes. You might just need to reduce. Yes. Yes. Good. 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 You got it now. Okay, keep going. Okay, I'm going to start to work on this here. Okay, again, not sure why they keep using this 9. 2 to the 9th is 512. And now, look, Joseph, what do I do with the 8 and the 9? Multiply. N to the 72nd. So now, this is a 1, so I'm going to keep that. 18, come down and subtract, and you're going to have 1 over 512, N to the 54th. Everybody got it? Okay, now, number 12, a little something weird going on. We haven't seen this before, so I need everybody to listen. There is a property of exponents, and it has to do with fractions, that if I take 2/3 and I want to square it, what that means is you kind of, and I'm hesitant to use the word distribute because it means multiply. It means that each the numerator and the denominator get squared. So it just means 2 squared over 3 squared. That's all that means. So 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. So that answer is 4 9ths, right? So when you have a whole fraction being raised to a power, it means raise the numerator and the denominator both to that power. However, sometimes, well, you know what? Let's do it that way. Watch. So let's do that. So your first instinct is to raise the numerator to the 6th power and the denominator to the 6th power, and then I'm going to show you a shortcut, okay? So this is going to be x to the 42nd, x to the 30th, over x to the 12th. Then I have to combine my x's, which is x to the 72nd over x to the 12th. And then I subtract them now, right? So then this is going to be x to the 60th. Whew, that was kind of a lot of work. Do you want to see a way easier way? Do you have any suggestions on what you could do? Yeah.
Instead of multiplying 6 first, add the 2x.
Yes. How about this? How about pretend like that raising this whole thing to the 6th power doesn't even exist. Don't you got enough to clean up in here first? You want to do that first and then raise that answer to the 6th power? Watch how easy it is. So let's do 7 plus 5 and get, so this is the easy way. I'm going to get x to the 12th divided by x to the 2nd, which is x to the what? 10th. But you may need to kind of just keep dragging that to the 6th power along so you don't forget to do it in the end. And what's that answer? The same answer I got above, but with a lot less steps, right? Okay? So, but there are going to be times where you're not going to have a choice and you're going to have to apply this method here. So let's take a look at number 13. Let's work through this one together. So I'm going to ignore that they want me to take this whole thing to the 10th power for right now. Pretend like it's not there. Pretend like it's a problem from side 1. Let's do it that way. So nothing's going on up here, but I got this to kind of clean up down here. So I have 2x to the 6th, y to the 4th to just kind of bring down. How many x's do I have in my denominator? Be careful, do not forget that one. There are 7 x's and 7 y's, correct? I would probably, because sometimes you guys get on a roll and you get going real fast and you just think you're done, but you're really not. I would probably just keep putting that 10 there, okay? So then, let's do this. This is going to be 6 come down, 4 come down. This answer is going to be 2 over x, y to the 3rd, right? But then I need that whole thing to the 10th. So you know what? I don't have a choice. It didn't work out to be a nice little non-fraction answer this time, did it? It's still a fraction. So that's when you say, okay, I just guess I got to take the 2 to the 10th and the xy to the 3rd to the 10th. This step is not necessary for you to write out. Could you get to the answer by just taking each of them to the 10th power as it is from this step? If you can, yes, go for it. 2 to the 10th is way bigger than you think. It's actually, I just put 10 to the 10th. 1024. And don't forget, that's a 1. And 1 times 10 is 10. And 3 times 10 is 30. Whew. Did you follow that? So when you get to so step 1, here, I'm going to give you a little bit of hint over here. Reduce the inside first as far down as you can get it. So reduce what's inside first, then raise that simplified answer to that power, okay? Okay? Otherwise, can you imagine what this is going to look like? If you do this all, it's so silly. It's like because squaring something like blows it up, right? So it's like, I'm going to blow this up, I'm going to blow this up, and then I got to go back and reduce it? Why not reduce it first, right? Okay? So do you want to try number 14 on your own? And we'll do this on your whiteboard. So go ahead and work on it on your paper and give me an answer for your whiteboard when you have it. Okay, so reduce first. Kind of might help a little bit to have those parentheses in there. Got a lot of cleaning up to do here. Good. Yep. No? 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 Oh, gosh, I think we're stumped. Adam, good. So close, Journey. No. 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 Yes. No. Ooh. I'll start working on the steps and you can... They're M's and N's, so they're kind of tricky. You might think, oh gosh, which one's the M? Okay, check your first step. Close. That's checkpoint 1. Yes, yes. No. Did you get there to checkpoint 1? But don't forget that all this is squared. But I'm not going to square it yet because I still got to clean it up a little bit. This becomes 1. The 9 goes down here. The 8 goes down here, which means that leaves you with nothing in your numerator. A lot of you had the right answer. You just forgot that it's... Yes. So then this is 1 over m to the 6th, n to the 8th, right? 11th. Sorry, I did that for sorry. And I need to square that. Yes. So 1 squared is 1. 6 times 2 is 12. 11 times 2 is 22. Okay, did you get that? Yes, Brandon.
Every time we